Hello and greetings from Park City, Utah. It is Tracksuit Thursday, and I'm your host, Townsend Wardlaw, also known as the Coach of Being. Got a beautiful day out here, and we still got the moon hanging out up above, keeping us a little bit of company. So, thought it'd be a fun spot to record our session. Hopefully, not too much background noise. Today, I'm going to talk about my favorite topic. It's the big C word, commitment. And for those of you who are sort of new to this conversation, I want to be clear that when I talk about commitment, I'm not referring to what somebody would say to another, like, hey, I'll be at your house on Friday at 5 o'clock to help you move. That I call an agreement, right? So the word agreement, as opposed to an expectation, is where two people enter into a formal, explicit, spoken, ideally even written, acknowledgement of what's going to occur, what's going to happen, when, etc. That's an agreement. A lot of people use the word commitment, like you have my commitment to do that. And while Webster might have something to say about that, that's not how we're using it. So when I talk about commitment, I'm talking about commitment as a state of being, commitment as a force that we can harness to create with, separate and distinct from ourselves. So I like to say that commitment is the most powerful force in the universe, and when we can shift into a state of being called creating from commitment, well, it provides some pretty unique advantages. Allows us to create faster and with more ease and frankly more fun. Things can materialize in many, many different ways. So today in the conversation about commitment, and that's the whole topic for July, I'm going to be talking with you about this radical idea that everything we create in the world, both our experience of life and our circumstances of life, is created from a commitment to it. Now, it's a pretty radical notion. Whatever is created, I'm the one creating it, and I'm creating it from something that I'm committed to. That can be a disruptive notion for folks. Well, lots of things in my life I say, well, I don't want them there. The idea that I've put them there intentionally, even if it's subconsciously, is well, like I said, it's pretty disruptive. What I find, though, is that playing the game called I create from commitment, everything that occurs in my life is created from a commitment to it, allows me to have more power. Think about it this way. For those things in my life that, or your life, that are there, and I'm happy about them being there, I'm grateful for them to be there, we have no problem saying, yes, it's there because I'm committed to it, right? We take that ownership of it. We take that pride in it. However, things that we maybe don't want in our lives or are causing us problems or pain, well, we're very quick to say, well, I'm not committed to that, I'm committed to something else. The problem, of course, is the denial of ownership takes away any power. We might have to do something about it, right? If something is mine and I put it there, well, that means I can remove it. I can stop putting it there, right? If there is resistance and I own that I'm creating it, all I need to do is to stop producing resistance to something, and it will disappear. It won't maintain. However, and conversely, if the ownership of whatever's there in my life exists outside of myself, well, now I got to go find somebody else to do something or stop doing something so that I can have what I want. I want to be really clear when we talk about this idea of I create everything in my life and I create it from a commitment. I consider this a truth, the truth, capital T, truth. And what I mean by truth is the truth is true always. Now, what I don't do is use the truth to beat myself up or try to prove the truth or try to bludgeon other people with it. I use it as a tool for learning. So if I take the statement, everything in my life that's there that I like, that I don't like, that I'm happy about, that I'm pissed off about, well, it's there because I created it. If I take that as the truth, well, then my journey of life can be one where I don't know, wander along and see all the places where, at least temporarily, I'm convinced that's not true, right? So the truth can be a tool for learning, something to test against, right? So let's just say that I take it as truth that everything is there because I put it there. If I'm not creating enough money or enough clients, right? One way to look at it is, well, there's not enough clients out there. The clients aren't the right kind of people. Nobody's buying right now. The economy's not good. I can put it all outside of me, right? And while that feels really great from an ego standpoint or from a self-satisfaction standpoint, like it's not my fault, and I'm blaming other people. While they can feel very good, it doesn't get me the result I want. And I need the economy to turn around. I need interest rates to go down. I need the president to shift, and be somebody else so that I can have the experience and the circumstances of life I want. However, if I say, wait a minute, what if it's true? It's there because I put it there. This idea of there's not enough money coming into my bank account. What if that's on me? What if I am creating the lack of money through a commitment to something? Right? If I ask that, it allows me to go exploring. It allows me to go looking to see what I might be doing to keep money away, or what I might be not doing to create money or to create clients. Now, I want to talk about this a little more, but first, it's important to distinguish ownership or responsibility from blame and fault, right? I'm not saying it's my fault there's no money in my bank account. I'm not saying I need to feel bad about it. I'm just taking responsibility, right? This idea that I'm doing something here that I could stop doing, or I'm not doing something that I could start doing, well, that creates power for me. Trying to find, well, what am I doing wrong? Or what's the bad thing that I'm doing? Or how can I find fault with myself? Well, let's just say it's not that that doesn't work, right? Lots of people create a lot in their lives by blaming themselves and others. The problem is it becomes a very unfun game to play, right? It's not fun constantly looking for all the places where you're wrong, trying to find fault, trying to find something that you can blame yourself for and shame yourself for so that you'll stop doing it, right? So really this idea of it being ownership and responsibility, not judgment, blame, shame, is simply something we can use to make sure we keep playing the game over the longer term. So notice when you might be playing the game called I'm creating everything, but playing the game so you can beat yourself up about something. That's not the point. So back to our money example. When I'm working with somebody and what I'm hearing from them is, clients aren't coming, people aren't saying yes, nobody's returning my calls, right? As a possibility, I invite them to ask the question, what might you be committed to that is keeping the clients away or the money away or them saying yes away, right? What do you think you're committed to? Well, I'm committed to serving them. They might say I'm committed to, building my income and creating clients or closing deals. Okay. What might you be committed to that works against that? Now, obviously, this is where our mind wants to step in and say, well, nothing. I'm doing everything I can. Well, let's look again is what I would say, all right? When we look at that and say, I know the truth is I must be doing something, therefore let me go find it, that creates a whole different set of possibilities of what we might discover. For example, we might discover that we are more committed to looking good, not seeming pushy, not seeming manipulative than we are to serving somebody or closing on them as a client, right? As a possibility. This isn't a technique conversation. This is a way of being conversation. What could I be committed to that's keeping it away? Well, what if I am committed to my own struggle? What if I'm committed to it? It has to be hard. There was a gentleman that I had a number of conversations with, and when we talked about money, what rose up was this idea in his head that acquiring more money would expose him to risk. He's got a good life, right? He's got a decent living. He has a desire to up his income and make lots of money, bring in lots of clients. But when we really started uncovering what was going on and his thinking about it, what we saw was there's thinking that sounded a lot like, if I make more money, well, then I'll be a target. I'll be exposed to risk. Now, I don't know if he was talking about lawsuits or people trying to steal from him or what have you, but for him, it was very, very true. And he was committed to the idea committed to I got to keep my family safe, and I'm committed to money causes problems. Well, that commitment is going to create resistance. That's something that you would be putting there. In this case, he would be putting there to keep the money coming from him. Another example, I was working with a coach who, when we started looking at what was keeping money away from him, what he saw was his deep commitment to taking responsibility for others' experience, right? So keep it very simple. This idea that if somebody were to coach with him, and this could be coaching, could be buying your software, could be anything, but this idea for somebody to give you their money, well, now you're responsible for whether it works out for them. Now, on one hand, that's a powerful commitment, a responsibility to you're going to get your money's worth, you're going to get what you wanted. That's very honorable. And you will acquire a lot of clients taking responsibility for this software will work, you have my name on it. However, after a certain point, there's only so much responsibility you can put out there, so many commitments to responsibility. Those commitments to responsibility and that commitment to responsibility will begin to repel additional customers where you can't apply the same level of attention or care, what have you, right? Somebody who takes absolute responsibility for this software is going to work, well, that'll work in a little company selling little bits of software. When they're wanting to move into an enterprise selling role, as an example, software that costs millions of dollars and requires teams of people to implement, well, now that's past the point where their responsibility is going to get the job done. They're going to have to trust others. What occurs under the surface is their commitment to, I need to be responsible that this works out, is going to create a resisting force with the commitment to, I want to generate revenue, or even I want to serve these folks. So, simple idea, something to play with as you go through your next week. What are the things in life you believe you're committed to, you're convinced you're committed to creating? Are they showing up? Are as much of them showing up as you want to show up? And if not, can you ask the question, what else must I be committed to that's keeping this away, right? That's keeping this from me, right? And this can be ranging from the very mundane to the really, really deeply rooted subconscious beliefs about money that we were raised with, right? In my case, I was always taught growing up that money was something other people had. Well, I had to work through the commitment to, well, it's not for me when I wanted to make more money. So look for the things in yourself, in your life, and this could be about money, this could be about love, this could be about respect, it could be about honesty, it could be about whatever it is. If you're committed to speaking the truth, well, look at all the places where you're committed to something else, well, not hurting their feelings. Well, that's a competing commitment. You're creating that, everything in your life, from a deep commitment to it. If you can see that commitment, if you can find it, if you can notice it, well, you'll have the choice to either stay committed to that or release that commitment and commit to something else that you want. Have an amazing, amazing day wherever you are in the world.